like it was mentioned, if the cost of capital, if the cost of debt is 9 and 10%, how can you have a stock price recommendation of buy with 7%? It's common sense. You have to use common sense that if I want to buy a particular stock for 1 year point of view, it has to give you return more than the risk-free rate. This is all point that I have made. I'm sure there are more points from the judges. Okay, but I guess at the end of the day, I'll say you guys did a tremendous job. Clap for yourself. Thank you.
Also request our esteemed panel of judges who have graded very minutely all the teams to share more feedback on the way that you guys have handled and the way you guys have approached. So maybe not in particular order, but Mr. Namit Arora to start with.
Thank you, Jayesh bhai. I would request all of you to reflect on what Jayesh said. He's a very experienced portfolio manager. He's been portfolio manager for almost 2 decades, and he listens to sell-side analysts 10 times a day. So it's nobody better positioned than him. Okay, couple of quick comments from me. Okay, one is primary work. I would encourage all of you, whatever company you are researching, right, it will demonstrate a lot of difference and value add to a portfolio manager when you say you've spoken to advertisers, ad agencies, consumers, right? Some of you have done that, but I would encourage all of you to do it, a lot more of it. Because any company that you're researching, ultimately, right, it's not about just the numbers, it's about what business you are buying. So do a lot of primary work. It will show that you've really done some work around that. Second is analysis around the group. See, what tends to happen is this is one company of a group, but eventually, you see behavior of management around what are the other companies, are they sucking cash, could they use this to support a power business or a real estate business, what is the governance standard the group is setting in terms of arm's length behavior, related party transactions. So be very thorough, not just about the company, but about other businesses of the group, because think about it, if they have other businesses that need cash, right, they may be close to management's heart, they may pledge equity here, they own 75% here, they could pledge this equity, raise loans against it, and use it to support other businesses. That's one end of it. But if governance is not proper, they could even use related party transactions to support it. Both of them should be areas of concern to you, because market's very efficient. The moment the market finds out that somebody's pledged equity here, the stock might collapse. Or if they find worst situation is if they're related party transactions, the stock may collapse. So you need to be very thorough about the group, the governance, the related party transactions, what are the other businesses. The third area is benchmarking. See, what you've got to look at is, a portfolio manager has choice. Firstly, he need not just need to buy into the print sector. So one is to say, as a sector, you have to look at media as a sector, right? Within media, it's print. So some work around how does print industry fit in the context of media sector for an investor. Because when an investor is looking at it, right, he could say, maybe I want an exposure to the media sector. Within media sector, print versus digital, cable, etc. That is one benchmarking. Second benchmarking is within the print sector. You cannot just look at just the company per se. What are the 4-5 competitors? What are their different strategies? And what is the relative valuation? Sitting today, there may be out of 5 companies, 2 or 3 which look good. But you could make a case for saying relatively this company is more expensive or less expensive. So do the benchmarking, because a portfolio manager will do that. So when you are presenting, do some work around that. That's from a stock perspective. Second is from a strategy perspective. What is the strategy that each of these 4-5 companies are following? What do you like more? What you don't like more? I know time is limited. All of you are very busy in business schools. And to find time for just one company analysis itself is taxing. But it'd be good to see some work around that. Okay, then is around annual report. I think one of my colleagues on the panel asked this question. You must read annual report cold, inside out, right? Not just 1 year, but maybe 5 years, at least 3 years. If not, at least 2 years. But read it back to back, word by word, because today's annual reports are much better than they used to be 10 years ago. Management discussion and analysis, MD&A, risks, right? Related party transactions. You should absolutely have to know that. That's a starting point. You can't be in a situation that you've not read every word of the annual report, because that's completely basic. And that gives you very valuable information, because things have improved a lot now. I talked about governance and management. Then it's about saying what are the key success factors for an industry or a company, right? My colleague Mr. Subramaniam asked several of you in several rounds a very important question, which probably was the most important question, was to say, have you checked on how do they retain editors, right? How do they retain management? Okay, Chetan Bhai asked about separation, right? Is there influence? Ultimately, we'll buy a newspaper, if we think it's independent, it's transparent. So is the promoter group influencing the content quality? Are the editors pressurized because there are some corporate relationships to report? So both aspects. What Mr. Subramaniam asked about, how do they retain good talent, how do they attract good talent of editors, and Chetan's question about saying, is there independence between content and the promoter group ownership? Okay, then the basic thing about saying why. A lot of you alluded to, we talked to management and they said that, right? But you can't take it on face value. Every management, every company, every sector, right, would give you the right answers and they would say we are the best. So that is the starting point, but you can't just rely on it. You have to question it and you have to then go and independently test it. Or because on face value, you just can't take management. Then some work around, a lot of you did very good work around valuations, but you could also look at things like PE banks. This history, this company is 3.5, 4 years old. So you could look at PE banks, how the PEs have moved. One is for the company per se, second is relative to the market. None of you sort of looked at, is there a media sector index we can benchmark it to, or can we benchmark the stock performance to Sensex, or a subset of the print companies. So some work around index construction, benchmarking to the media sector or the print sector, and also relative to the, if not the Sensex or the Nifty, but a mid-cap index like a BSE 200 or a BSE 500, some amount of benchmarking looking at PE banks, because history is a very good indicator. And similarly, there was somebody who did a scatter plot of PE to ROE. Typically you do PE versus CAGR or VPS. So what's the PEG ratio, right? PE to CAGR or VPS, and similarly price to book versus ROE. So on a growth adjusted basis, what does the PE look like? And then forecast, right? Some of you did 5-year forecast, but several of you just had 2 or 3 year forecast. That's too less. You have to have a 5-year model, because we're not looking to buy a stock for 3 months or 6 months. At the minimum, you need to have built-in forecast, 5-year forecast, and you should know these numbers cold. Very simple questions like, what is CAGR of revenue, PAT, and EBITDA? These are just your forecast, right? It gives you a headline number. What is my headline forecast, right? And then, Jayesh Bhai made the same point about saying you can't be saying 5% appreciation or this will go up in 3 months, or there'll be an instantaneous re-rating, right? Just because we are doing a report doesn't mean the stock will go up tomorrow. So you have to take a 1-year view at the minimum on earnings. What will be the triggers, right? What will drive this re-rating or not? And re-rating is always very, very hard. And again, on margin expansions, those things are very hard to achieve. So you need to have a very good case for saying, someone had a thesis saying EBITDA margin will go from 20% to 30% in 15 years, because they'll manage newsprint costs. So just some work around how will they manage newsprint costs? Are these the only guys who are importing? Why is their newsprint cost high? And then, some assessment around management quality. Because ultimately, we all back management, right? Numbers will come in if management is smart. So some word around, firstly, promoter quality. Have they created wealth, for shareholders in the past? What's their track record? Then some word around the CEO, managing director. What's his background? Where did he come from? How long has he been with the group? Has he created value somewhere else? Third thing is CFO quality. CFO is absolutely critical, right? We all focus too much on CEO, MD or promoters. But to me, a CFO is a co-pilot. Things are so choppy today, right? This company has a lot of forex loans. A lot of mid-cap and small-cap companies in India have been completely burned by forex, derivatives, the way they've handled forex loans. So a lot of word around CFO quality. How long has he been with the company, what's his track record, etc. And then yes, around risks, what can go wrong? So I would encourage a lot of stress testing around sensitivity analysis. Very basic, saying a newsprint cost, which I think some of you did have. Somebody actually had it down to the share price. That look, if this is the delta in terms of various elements of the cost structure, this is the impact on share price. So I would encourage you to look at that as well. So there's some inputs from my side, but overall, congratulations to you. As Jayesh Bhai said, all of you are champions. When we were in business school 15, 20 years ago, we didn't know any of this. You guys have moved phenomenally. So all the best. And what I would also request is, several of you will be in Bombay in maybe 6 months or so, working out of Bombay. So we have an active CFS society. This is a very interesting format. And we have various activities of the CFS society in India. So you might find some of that quite interesting. So come by, contribute, give back to the community by being active volunteers. Because what we've done is, as a group, we've been doing this challenge for 5 or 6 years. We've tracked progress. And several of you who were part of this competition actually found this to be very useful, became sell-side analysts. I know of one person who's a good sell-side analyst at Morgan Stanley. I know she's now in Singapore. Several people. So this made it, several of them are buy-side analysts with hedge funds and with mutual funds and with other FIs, etc. So this does make a difference.